Well, we are back again.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Spirit Speaks, and we are channeling voices from the other side of life.
Yes.
So, thank you for joining us. And if you haven't joined us before, I'm Rebecca. I do the interviews, and
I'm Burnett, and I'm a channel.
okay. So, we are going to get right into it and see who we have today. All right.
All right.
We call in the divine light of Source Creator to set this time and space with love, light, and good intent. We open the sacred space to those who desire to share their stories and their truths with us. May all that comes forth be of the highest good, and so it shall be. Amen. All right. So are we ready?
We're ready.
And who do we have with us?
We have Arthur.
Welcome, Arthur.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be back. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let me just let our audience know you are Burnett's guide.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, what would you like to share with us today?
Actually, I feel like you have some questions that aren't answered, and I also have some things I want to talk about, but I wanted to see if you wanted to go first.
Okay. Um, so Burnett and I kind of talked a little bit before we started about the body.
Mm,
So
that's a different session.
that's a different session?
Yeah.
Not this one?
It's not this one.
So the, I've had some questions about um, my family,
Mm. Mm.
but I'm not sure. I always have a lot of questions. I'm not sure which one of my set of questions.
Well, the body is a different session.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and what about your family?
Um, so right now I'm doing.
Burnett says she wasn't expecting this today. So you never know what to expect with me.
We
Okay.
don't. We don't. Um, I'm doing a lot of searching, historical searching
Yes.
through my ancestors, and um, trying to connect people and see where we came from and um, figure out who's related to whom in the family.
Mm-hmm.
What would you, what advice would you give me in my search for this information? Maybe something I haven't looked at, considered, thought of?
The canopy of your family tree spreads wide.
Okay.
That means that what you see, it goes much further beyond that and in places beyond that. And so where you see connections in one place, the tree spans over here and over here. And so where you're looking in one location, there is a connection in another location.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see family names pop up in different places, don't assume that because they are so far away that they're disconnected. It's just like the human race. Just because you're far away from someone doesn't mean you're disconnected. We're still all part of the same family. In your regard, it is actually the same family in many times where you see these connections.
Yes.
And so look across the U.S.
Oh.
Look north and south.
Whoa. Oh.
Because the family has moved in time. It has spread in time.
Oh.
And look for variations in the spelling.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I've overlooked some of those.
Yes. And don't hesitate to ask by name. for support, for help. So some of the people who you have found, who you know are on the other side. Don't be afraid to receive inspiration from them if you ask. Ask them by name. Help me to find your family.
Great idea. Great.
And you can do that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Someone helped me yesterday.
You can do that. And going from there, and sorry to interrupt your question, but to those who are listening to this message, you can do this too. And this is actually one reason I wanted to come in today. There are so many people who have gifts and who have the ability to connect with spirit who do not, because they're afraid that they cannot. This is not an exclusionary club. Everyone has the ability to speak with spirit, to communicate with spirit, to interact with spirit, because you are spirit. You get rid of the shell and you are spirit. There's a barrier from the physical world, but that's something that can be transmuted. It can be changed when you understand the true nature of yourself.
How does it change?
Because when you realize, it's like the walls come crumbling down when you realize that you are truly a spiritual being. You're simply enclosed and wrapped up in this shell, in this body, in this dressing. But you are a spirit, just like I am.
Yes, we
Just
are.
like your loved ones who you're looking for, who have gone before you, they're spiritual beings. We may not all be the same kind, but we're all spiritual beings. And you can connect with each other. And so for those who are wondering, how do you do this? How do you connect? How do I speak to my loved ones? You are connected. It's this false human mind that gets in the way. We overthink and overanalyze, and we're trying to figure it out versus simply exist and be in it. We don't second guess when you're having a conversation with another person, because you can see them and you understand that. But the minute you stop understanding it and you can't see it, then you stop believing, and then you can't even be in that anymore. You suddenly lose it and say, oh, because they're there, I can't. When in truth, we have all seen it. We have all have evidence. We've had evidence in our lives of associating with the other side.
Yes, we have.
You think past in your life, there has been proof of life on the other side, and you can't dismiss it. It's not accidental.
It's in dreams all the time.
Dreams, inspirations, intuition, words from strangers, signs on the highway.
Songs on the radio.
Songs on the radio. Hello, yes. They come to us and through us all the time. So you just have to listen. And I say listen because we talk too much sometimes. People on this planet talk a lot. It's a lot of talking here. And I'm sorry if I feel like I'm getting real. There's a lot of talking here. People talk and they don't want to listen. They say, I hear you, but no, it's just, I heard you so I could respond to you. Now I heard you. It's a difference. You need to listen. Listen with your whole self. Sit down and be quiet. Or walk and be quiet. Or exercise and be quiet. Be quiet and listen. You hear the voice of God. You hear the voice of love. You hear the voice of spirit when you do that. You can connect with the divine. You can connect with the energy of the universe. You can connect with yourself first and foremost. Because you really have to have that connection with you before you can start trying to connect with everybody else. You can't drive your car on the highway if it's broken down. So you figure yourself, find yourself, center yourself, be connected with yourself. And then you can go out. You can go up. You can go through. You can go in.
People might be concerned and worried about, well, how do I know when I'm connected to myself?
Good question. There's a sense, I hear the word is nirvana. It's that sense of peace that comes over you when you are in the moment. Everything else falls away. And you are just at peace. You're not worried about anything else besides where you are right in that moment. You're not thinking about work or school or kids or bills or laundry or cars or anything. It doesn't happen in big chunks, because if it did, people wouldn't exist very well, because they, you know, not eat and not work and probably stinking and unclothed. But it happens in moments, and it's in those moments that you capture and you say, I'm present right there. And being able to go into that moment when you want to. You could be in a busy street and you can take a second of heaven and feel that. It may be looking up at the sun carefully, listening to the birds for a moment. Something that just brings you, I want to say, in connection with nature, your natural surroundings. It could be seconds, it could be hours, it could be minutes, whatever you need to first identify it. When you first identify how you feel in that moment, that sense of being completely with you, then you know how to get back there. You have that memory to go back to. And then when you get that memory to go back to, then you can connect to other things. But first you have to be whole yourself. You have to be at one and at peace with yourself. Now I will say, there are people, because there's all kinds of people. There are people who are natural intuitives, natural mediums, natural channels, who may not need to do that. And I'm working through one. But there are also people who need to go through that in order to connect, because it doesn't come as naturally. And I'll clarify, when I say natural, meaning that it comes very easily, it comes naturally, innately. Because in truth, we're all naturally connected by the nature of our spiritual existence, the being that we are. As spiritual beings, we are by nature connected to spirit. By our physical condition, being a human, that sometimes causes this false separation. And making it feel unnatural to connect.
Okay, is that because we are too much into our physical selves?
Oh my goodness, yes. Human beings are so physical. All over the physical. In every way, the material, the physical, what you look like, and the food that you eat, and what it tastes like, which is good. I mean, you guys came to Earth, right? That was part of that experience. It's a physical planet. It's one meant to be physically experienced. I mean, when I was here, I physically enjoyed it. You're supposed to. But some people allow that to overcome and overtake their spiritual self, to the point that they're so consumed by being physical that they don't know how to be spiritual. Yeah. But everyone can connect. I want to make that clear. Everyone can connect. Not everyone wants to. Some people are afraid to. Some people have a slight sense of fear, and that might be healthy. Fear is not necessarily always bad. Fear can be a healthy way of keeping you out of danger, because you can't just go willy-nilly connect into the spirit world.
Oh, very true.
You cannot do that. So if you have some hesitation, yeah, have some hesitation, because that's healthy. That is healthy. Make sure that you are safe, secure, protected, grounded, that you've got your barriers up, you've called in the right energies, you're talking to the right spiritual entities, not just any spiritual entity, because trust me, there are plenty who would be happy to come through and mess up your world. I'm not going to go there right now.
Okay. All right. Well, forewarning. In order to, what are some of the things that would be good for us to do to protect ourselves before we try to tap into the spirit world?
Prayer and intention, I would say. Prayer and intention. You can use prayer and our intention. Some people use tools, crystals, but prayer and intention are, in my book, the most powerful tools you have. And you take them wherever you are. You need nothing besides your own self and your own mind.
Right. Very basic as well.
Yeah. And be clear. Be clear. A lot of people, protect me. That's the very first part of it. Protect you from what?
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, protect you from what? Now, granted, first thing you do is you call in your higher self. You can do that. Calling God, divine light, source, creator, the universal, mind, whatever you consider that highest being to be. You want to call into the highest source. First.
Right.
Go there first. And then from there, you can flow in your prayer. But you call in the highest source first. Because that sets the framework. When you start with with God, and you are protected in that umbrella, even if you don't know what else to say, even if you don't know what else to pray, you make sure you call in divine white light, the source creator, the omnipotent God, the universal God, the highest God. Because, and I say this because it's not just as there have been gods through the ages. God is a generic name. It really is. It's a generic name.
Okay.
It's one that people have a common association with.
Right.
However, there are many who have called themselves gods through the ages. And perhaps they were little gods, big gods. However, when you want to be protected, you want to go to the source of life, the source of this creation, the source of this existence, this universe. You want to go to the source. So call on the source.
So are you saying that just saying God is not enough?
Not for someone who doesn't know, who doesn't hold the intention of what that God represents.
Okay. So are you saying that if we have the intention of God being source creator, when we say God, then that intention sends it to source of all creation?
Yes. But if you don't have that intention, or you don't
don't have that understanding,
then it doesn't necessarily go there.
I see how I could just send it out there and
send it out there.
Whoever picks it up, because there's no intention behind it.
Right.
Ooh, that's helpful.
So when someone says, God help me, if they're saying it with the intention of, and intention has such a big part of it. One says, oh God help me. In that moment, that intention is the power of, you need help from someone powerful.
Yes.
It will likely go to the top, but there are powerful beings in between. So it may not, it may go to another powerful being who's of the light,
Mm-hmm.
who's one of God's helpers. There's
Oh,
many helpers. So when you say God help me, with the intention of, it really, oh my goodness, your heart and your intention are such important components of everything. And so when you say it with that heart and intention, you know that you're asking for help from the powerful God,
yes.
that ultimate,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to go up that line. But who you get help from can depend on what your need is.
Okay.
There's lots of people working and busy.
So, a, a lot of people, especially Christians on this planet, pray to Jesus.
Mm-hmm. He's in the line.
He's in line. And when when but some of them, everyone doesn't always have that understanding, and they see Jesus as the highest being.
Because that's their understanding, that's their teaching.
And so, does it go up the line to the highest source, or does it?
I mean, if they call on Jesus thinking he is the highest?
Yes.
Jesus can escalate matters. He's a powerful being. He can escalate matters. If something is beyond his scope,
Mm-hmm.
he can raise it up. I can raise things up. Your guides can always raise things up if it's beyond them.
So we can even call on our guides, call on angels.
Oh, of course, yeah. The nice thing is you can call on your guides, call on angels. When you call on Source, when you call on the ultimate, you're covered. Because it's like your whole team is in on it.
Ah.
Versus you calling in your guide, your angels may be off doing other things. You call on your angels, your guides are usually around you and is kind of watching, make sure you are doing okay and when you need help. But if you call on Source Creator, your team is there, ready to work together.
Gotcha. Wow.
And so when people call on Jesus, because so many people believe him to be that top, he's had to build a whole infrastructure, because you don't want people to fall through the cracks just because they may not know.
Right.
And so under him, you may have those people who fall under the Christian perspective that Jesus is the ultimate God, will have their team kind of working under Jesus, just like everyone else's teams is working under the ultimate God, so to speak.
Okay.
And then if things need to be escalated, Jesus has the authority. He can escalate things.
Good, because I'm sure a lot of people listening to us may.
And it's not like it's just, where do you start? And either one is okay. Everyone comes here with different knowledge, a different understanding, and people around the world believe in different things. And as long as you are calling on that intentional God of love, of power, of goodness, you won't fall through the cracks. Whatever that, you have different names, just like we call it cat, someone else calls it gato. You're not going to fall through the cracks.
It's the same thing.
There's different words in every language for everything. Right. And just because one person calls it one thing and someone else calls it a different thing, when the heart and intention is the same, you'll be okay.
Awesome.
Just protect yourself. Just call on somebody who's
From
on the right side. Yes, who's on the light side and on the side of love.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Oh, you are welcome.
Thank you. That was incredible. Wow. So, we're going to close the session, but is there anything else you'd like to add in closing?
Yes, I would. One more thing.
Okay.
And I'm hearing this from the people I work with here. He said people are afraid of prayer. And I've seen it. And I want to say to people who may be receiving this message, don't be. Prayer is just spoken word. It's just words that you express. Whether you say it out loud, or you speak them in your heart, in your mind, in your head, sending an intention, a desire out. Do it with purpose. Do it with thought. And call on the highest being. If you don't know who to call on, just call on love and light. If you're not comfortable saying God, you don't have to. You can say source. You can say the universe or creator. You can say the ultimate love, the ultimate light, divine love. You know the powerful words you have. And what do those mean to you? If a word doesn't mean something to you, it's not going to be useful. So make sure that it means something to you. Not all words are going to mean the same thing. Someone may not want to say God. They may not want to say divine. They may not want to say spirit. Whatever. It's all one thing. You can call on the one. But don't be afraid to pray just because some people have seemed to make it seem as if prayer is something that they own. Nobody owns prayer. It is available to every single person, regardless of where you were born, where you came from, what religion you had, what education you had, what religion you didn't have, where your family, how much money you have. It doesn't matter. Prayer belongs to everybody. So don't let anybody tell you you can't pray just because you don't pray like they pray. It works because we're listening. And it shows that you truly have that intention. Because let me tell you something. If you were in the minds of men and women on this planet, you would know that 1,000 times a day you have different thoughts. One second you want this, another second you want that, and then another second is a whole different thing. But when you choose to come into prayer about something, because it means you've thought about it. Yes. And so we're like, okay, she might be serious about this one. She might actually want this one. But then again, every thought is also a prayer. So that's why prayer is so important. People underestimate. Every thought is a prayer. Every word you speak is a prayer. Every prayer is a prayer. So be intentional about what you let happen here, what you let happen here, what you let happen here. What goes in, what comes out, what you feel, what you express. Because we are listening and we're trying to. There are universal laws that we have to work with. Yes. And when you put it out there, in your mind, through your speech, through your action, through your feelings, through your intentions, we're working. Sometimes I got us going like this. Feel like a ping pong game. So you got to be careful. Be careful of what you let in and out. But also, there are times when you need to be solid and just come in prayer and say, this is what I need in my life. This is what I want in my life. I am clear about this. I need some help. That's okay to say that. This is. I could go on about this, but I'm not. Prayer is not about I need a new Ferrari. I'm just gonna say that. Or I want somebody's husband. Or I want somebody's this. No, that's not what prayer is about.
Oh,
I'm gonna let you figure that out. What is prayer really about? Yeah. It's not about greed. But it is about you can have things that you want and that you need. But you got to think about what is it that you want? What is the desired outcome? What's the effect? Not the thing itself. We want to be happy. Okay. Well, sometimes we know what happiness might look like in ways that you might not even have, you may not have recognized or possibilities.
yes.
Hmm. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you so much for that. That was really very good and very powerful.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to close the session, allow Arthur to step back, and Annette will return, and we will see you next time. Thank you for joining us. Please hit the like button below if you have not, and subscribe if you have not. We thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye bye.